I think soup days are pretty good because soup is easy to eat and it's quicker to eat, and I get to see my dad and my mum.
Part of my job has been to go around to the 8 primary schools in the Bridport area and persuade them to come on board with our pilot scheme, which is quite different to any other scheme they will be offered. What we're offering is not only better, it's better in Dorset, because Dorset is one of those counties that the schools have hardly any kitchens, and the council is under great pressure because they've got such a limited amount of time to get those school meals to be offered to the children. So the easiest option is to bring ready-made meals in and reheat them. We just don't think that's good enough.
We try to be as local as possible, and that means partly that we try and source as much of the ingredients from a local area as possible. Where we can't do that, we go for organic or fair trade ingredients wherever possible. And we also try to localise the production. We have a set of staff that prepare the soups, and we also have some volunteers that come in as well. The soups are then chilled, and the next day they're taken to the schools that we're currently working with. We then heat them up in soup kettles.
We're making pumpkin and also autumn vegetable. Mostly pumpkin, obviously in the pumpkin with carrot, potato, an onion, and in the autumn vegetable, potato, onion, leeks, lentils, I think parsnips, yeah. Oh, and garlic.
I serve it on the Tuesday and the Wednesday at the 2 schools we're doing, and the children absolutely love it, as do the teachers. Years 5 and 6 like to have a competition to see how many seconds they can have, both schools. But they do love it.
At lunchtime, when the children come in for their soups, we have a couple of part-time staff who coordinate the whole thing, but we also have a lot of parent volunteers who come in to help serve the soups and then to clear up afterwards as well.
The reason that our scheme is different is that we're not a catering company who's just going to come in and reheat meals in their kitchens for their students. We're going to come in and have a partnership with the parents and grandparents at the school.
It's made in a big kitchen, and we think that it's labelled so they know the difference. And we think it also comes from Elwell Fruit Farm.
We're here at Elwell Fruit Farm, and this variety you can see here is called Jonagold, which is a late season variety, and we're going to pick it later on this week, and it's one of the varieties we supply to the local food links.
By September 2008, which is the date when schools have to be offering a hot meal every day, we're aiming for a 40 to 50% take-up across 7 or 8 schools in the Bridport area. Within that pyramid of schools there are about 1,000 children, so we're looking at 400 to 500 meals a day, ideally. We'll be looking at a cost to the parents of around £1.50, though obviously if we can reduce that by reducing costs we will do so. That will give us a turnover across the year which will allow us to cover the costs of ingredients and the costs of the production as well, and break even with a little bit of money to reinvest in the service.
This with the red sticker is pumpkin.
Right.
This totally different soup with the yellow sticker is autumn vegetable.
Right, I try not to get confused.
It's amazing, isn't it? I think it's quite impressive actually.
Schools have 3 options when they're looking at school catering. Either they can do it themselves, but for an individual school that can be quite a challenge. And in Dorset it's a particular challenge because primary schools haven't had kitchens for the last 25 years. Secondly, they could get the county council to have a catering system that delivers meals into the school, but again in Dorset we don't have that system. The third choice that is generally open to the schools is that they contract in to a private provider. But what we've seen in Dorset is that those private providers will often prepare the meals, in our case up in London, they truck them down. At the moment they're cold meals, but in the future they would be regenerated in microwaves. So we feel that that's not in any way the best option for the children. What we're developing with the local schools is a specific social enterprise option. We've pulled together a partnership of 7 local schools, all in the local pyramid of schools, and we've said to them that we can help them to set up their own social enterprise, which will be not-for-profit, which will prioritise healthy eating and as much local organic fair trade ingredients as possible, but which will also have a strong parental involvement, partly because it's the parents in the main who are buying the food, and partly because it's the parents who have to be engaged really in this process.
I feel really that we've made children much more aware of the ingredients that go actually into the soup, and we've talked an awful lot about that. We do a lot of work within our Healthy Schools curriculum. In addition to that, children have become much more aware of what is good for them and the meaning of organic. Children are being encouraged to try many more vegetables, and along with our fruit scheme, they're obviously being encouraged to think about what they're eating. We hope that it will be replicated, and in fact some schools within the Bridport pyramid are already using our sort of model. There are other schools to still come on stream, but we feel that we're moving forward on that, and we're hoping to introduce yet another hot lunch as a trial run again in the next half term, with a view to providing a hot school meal on a regular basis from 2008.
The grant funding that we've received to support the development phase has been given on the condition that we do share the model with other groups of schools. Also, it's important to remember that schools are able to access capital funding, so they may decide that one of the larger schools within their partnership creates a school that then serves the other schools in the pyramid, and it's very likely they'd be able to get the capital funding for that. So we do feel that this is a model that could be replicated because we feel that from a revenue point of view it can become self-sustaining.
I think it gives schools more control. The parents have to be much more on board with the whole project, but then they've got much more control. Because if you decide that for ease and not having to rely on volunteers, you will go with the reheated meals option, they're starting much more expensively than our meals are starting. And we have some control over the cost of our meals because we work with the local producers. We use a lot of seasonal vegetables. Even when we are going to use our meat producers, we will still be trying to keep the costs as low as possible. But if you're at the mercy of microwave meals, if they put the cost up, you just have to accept it because you've got no other option, you've got no kitchen. So we think this gives much more control back to the schools and the school community, and ultimately we think it really will show value for money.
Well, I always really like soup because I know that it's healthy and it's very, very tasty, and I just really like it.